Would you rather live 12 months that are really passive, or 6 months that are filled with joy? This is the question at the heart of the film We Live in Time. The film tells the love story of Tobias and Almut, from their chance meeting to their lives as parents. Near the start of the film, Almut receives a stage 3 ovarian cancer diagnosis, which throws the couple into the unknown. The question quickly becomes not just what is the next best step, but how are those steps? Almut poses this question not necessarily as a rejection of treatment, but rather an important piece of consideration. The days that we have, no matter how long, have to be lived to their fullest. Tobias is quietly struggling with how to respond to this. You can tell he is so desperate to try and say the right thing, but the situation is complex. His priority for his partner's health could be clashing with her desires. I thought one of the most interesting aspects of this film is that the story is deliberately told out of order, like an amusing mashup of About Time, but with a narrative structure closer to Memento. On a first watch, there doesn't seem to be an obvious order to the scenes, but we're effectively loosely seeing two timelines juxtaposed together. We're seeing two parents figuring out where to go from an unfortunate diagnosis, and we're also seeing two strangers forming a relationship and becoming parents. What's interesting about this approach is the way in which that emotionally plays on the audience. Something dramatic and consequential will happen in one scene, but we then jump forward to a time post-reconciliation where the issues are different. We then have to wait till the next scene to see how the original drama resolved itself. I think the concern of doing this approach is that it can become confusing, but for the most part this actually works quite well. This is because the film has an extreme focus around these two characters. Whilst there are supporting characters, they're mostly reduced to personalities, and I'd argue there's really only one supportive character that goes slightly above just being that. So this truly is an Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh driven film, which is great because they're both fantastic. The film really focuses on the life and career of Almut. She is an extremely talented chef with a great ambition to compete globally. We don't get nearly as much focus on Tobias's career or on any of his friends or colleagues. Tobias's job is to be a representative for Weetabix, which we see briefly in action, and then beyond that, this gets turned into a joke. Almut's friends initially refer to him as Mr. Weetabix, so to subsidise for this lack of depth, his character is defined in response to Almut's life and how he conflicts or agrees with it. This generally works because it entirely rests on Andrew Garfield's personality and performance. It's pretty clear that the filmmakers know that they've cast someone who they can really traverse a lot of endearing moments with. Andrew Garfield's capacity for empathy is very apparent, and I feel this has become a big part of the marketing. Whether you want to see him flirtatious with Amelia Dimoldenberg,
I think that there's something going on.
Do you actually think that?
No,
or is this for the...
I do think it's interesting that
If this wasn't here, do you think we'd actually have it go on a date? Do you think this has fucked up the fact that we could have actually gone on a date at some point? Maybe.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, but like take out all the practicalities and the logic. I actually believe maybe we could have without all of this.
Yeah.
But it's this.
Because you're afraid of it.
I'm a very private person in my private life.
Yeah, carry on.
or if you want to see him open up about grief with Stephen Colbert.
This is all the unexpressed love, right? The grief that will remain with us, until we pass, because we never get enough time with each other, right?
He's even teaching Elmo about love and loss.
It's actually kind of okay to miss somebody.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Elmo always feels really sad when he misses somebody.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. But that sadness, it's kind of a gift. It's kind of a lovely thing to feel, in a way, because it means you really loved somebody when you miss them.
In the film, he's very much presented as a sort of idealised cardigan-wearing London boyfriend. One of his first scenes, he behaves amusingly feminist and considerate by asking a pregnant Almut medical questions. I think to some degree this idealisation is a little manipulative in getting us to endear towards him, but if you understand what kind of film this is, you really expect to see this. Almut and Tobias also have a perfect child together who is only ever depicted as joyful to be around and is never disruptive. This is interesting when you realise that at the start of the film, Almut did not want to have children. This is a commercial Hollywood film, so you're not going to see this child have an extreme tantrum or even cover their clothes in yogurt. It's got the sheen of perfection about it, which makes it more sad when life doesn't go quite to plan. However, the glossiness doesn't take away from the gravity of their problems. I find it heartbreaking and beautiful that Almut is a character who initially doesn't want children, then gets diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and then she has a child. I think the whole approach to a story about cancer is handled appropriately and doesn't fall into the comedy trap about desperately trying to make a joke out of serious situations.
Jane, it's stage 4.
I have like, how many stages?
4.
That we know about.
The film does allow for difficult conversations to be difficult conversations. The extras and side characters are depicted in a very similar way to a Richard Curtis film, where we might get little moments or an amusing reaction shot.
He's keen to get home.
The two side characters of note for me are these two petrol station workers who are thrust into the lives of our leads in a hilarious way. Overall, I think people will really enjoy this moving and cosy film. It's a true crowd pleaser. When I saw it at this year's London Film Festival, the people sat next to me had a large box of tissues, and I could hear people gently sob all around me. There are many touching moments that I tried not to spoil here, but also to some extent you can't spoil this film, because at the end of the day, it's not about what they decided to do with their time, it's about how they decided to do it. Thanks for watching this video. This is how close I am to monetization. I am this close.
We're on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
The best way in helping me close this gap is by subscribing and leaving a like. It makes the YouTube algorithm do its thing, but also it genuinely makes me feel really encouraged. I appreciate it. Have you seen this film? What did you think of it? Leave a comment down below and let's continue this conversation. I read all the comments and I try to respond to as many as I can. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching this, and I'll see you next time.